Good evening. We will call to order the Planning Commission meeting for the City of El Segundo for Thursday, July the 9th. This will be the first meeting since we've had one February 13th. So we will call the meeting to order. And if we could start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Carol, may I ask you to do the Pledge of Allegiance for us, please?
I will. Let us all stand, please. And face the flag that is closest to you. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Carol. May
My
I
pleasure.
have roll call, please? Brenna?
Vice Chair Newman,
Present.
Commissioner Wingate,
Present.
Commissioner Heschler,
I'm here.
and Chair Baldino and Commissioner Keldorf are absent.
All right. Thank you so much. And at this juncture, we will do open public communications, limited to 5 minutes per person. And is there anybody in the council chambers that would be liking to stand up and do public communications at this point?
There's nobody here.
Nope, nobody's there. All right. No calls from the consent calendar. Is there any written communication, please?
We have nothing other than, oh, go ahead, Paul.
If I may, I just wanted to mention that we forwarded to you the resolution of approval again because we noticed that what we distributed before did not have Exhibit B, the community benefits plan. We just emailed that to you a little bit before the meeting, so just wanted to let you know that that's virtually on your dais.
So, Paul, I'm sorry, I could not hear a word you just said. I'll need to ask you to speak up. You're
Okay.
saying that we just received something in our packets?
Yeah, well, we just emailed you the resolution of approval again because what we had sent you previously was missing Exhibit B. And what we just emailed you includes Exhibit B, which is the community benefits plan. And I will be going over that during the presentation.
But there will be a presentation on that. Thank you. Okay. Really? Okay. All right. Well, then we will get right into continued business. And we will start with item EA 1273. The property is 140 Sheldon Street in Smoky Hollow, the community benefits plan. And the project description involves a 912 square foot internal addition, 2-story, 5,534 square foot office warehouse building in the Smoky Hollow West district. The request includes a deviation from the permitted FAR floor area ratio standard, which requires review and approval of a community benefits plan pursuant to the Smoky Hollow specific plan. And if we could have a presentation, please. Paul, thank you.
I hope. Is a community benefits plan project on a property in the Smoky Hollow specific plan at 140 Sheldon Street. Here is an aerial view of the project site. It is located just south of the intersection of Franklin Avenue and Sheldon Street. The site is approximately 6,400 square feet. And today there is a 2-story warehouse and office building on the site that's in the final stages of construction. This is a rendering of the building on the site, and we all hope that it will look just like this when construction is finally complete. Here is the site plan for the building. There is parking access along the alley on the right side of your screen, and a substantial setback along the front facing Sheldon Street. The property owner is proposing to make an internal addition to the building to the second floor level. This is the floor plan for the second floor. And as you can see here in the middle, there is an area called the office area that today is open to the first floor below. So the applicant is proposing to fill in that space and extend the second floor area with this project. So this is a request for a community benefits plan. As you are aware, the specific plan allows projects to exceed the development standards in exchange for on-site or off-site improvements or other contributions that are of benefit to the community. This particular proposal exceeds the permitted FAR in the Smoky Hollow West district of the specific plan. This places the project in the Tier 1 level of review, which means that the decision on whether to approve the community benefits plan rests with the Planning Commission. In the first two projects that the Commission reviewed earlier this year, those projects were in the Tier 2 level, which meant that you reviewed the projects and made a recommendation to the City Council for approval. But in this case, this time, the decision rests with you. So the proposed benefits in exchange for that exception are, first off, two public benches that will be located in the front part of the property and will be built into the existing raised planters that are along the front yard. Their location is right up against the public sidewalk. That way that they will be easily accessible to the general public for use. In addition to these public benches, the applicant will be providing bicycle parking above and beyond the minimum requirements of the code. And those will be located in that front yard setback as well and will be available to the public for use. The other benefit is compliance with the design guidelines of the specific plan. In fact, the project complies with 22 of the total 32 design guidelines in the specific plan. The applicant actually made changes, upgrades to the original design in consultation with staff and in conjunction with this community benefits plan proposal. Some of these additions or upgrades include layered landscaping in the front that include shade trees to make those benches and the sidewalk more usable, more appealing to the pedestrians in the area. There are no street lights on this side of Sheldon Street, so the design incorporates solar-powered uplighting under the trees, which improves the appearance of the property, but also makes this public seating area more usable in the evening for the public. This is a closer view of that front yard area. You can see the location of the two public benches, the one right up against the sidewalk and the one facing to the side, which actually makes accommodations for disabled persons. As you may see on the directly next to the bench, there's a rectangular area that's reserved for disabled person seating. These are the findings that need to be made in order to approve a Tier 1 community benefit plan. Staff believes that there is ample evidence in the record, which is reflected in the draft resolution, to make these findings of approval. And for that reason, we recommend that the Planning Commission adopt draft resolution number 2883, approving the proposed community benefits plan. That concludes our presentation, and we'll be happy to take your questions.
Okay, everybody back on?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Jay?
Yeah, can we see what the internal renovation, is that anything that we can review as part of our process?
The internal renovation, are you referring to the addition itself?
Yeah, and so I've actually seen the site. I looked at it today, and it looks like the building's almost complete. Mm-hmm. And so I wonder, has that interior renovation already been completed?
Okay, so the,
And yes,
the
I
plan,
have to say, I have to at this juncture say that I was invited to go take a look at the property and met with Frank Glenn and the applicants on June 4th. I just want to make that for the record that I did visit the property site on June 4th. And
Mhm.
Paul, if you'll answer Jay's question about that.
Of course. First of all, the building itself was permitted, a couple of years ago under the previous regulations for Smoky Hollow. So the idea to make this internal addition came up after the city adopted the Smoky Hollow specific plan. So the building itself was permitted previously. The plans were reviewed and approved, and they went through the regular building permit process. If you're asking about the addition area on the second floor, Mr. Heschler, if that's the case, the applicant applied for permits and has taken on sort of the risk of proceeding with the construction of filling in that space sort of at risk. And the purpose was for them to make progress on this while they await the conclusion of the community benefits plan process. So effectively, if the planning commission rejects the community benefits plan today, that work that has already been done will have to be kind of undone and removed. But the applicant wanted to take that.
Is that a decision that
progress?
I'm sorry. Is that a decision that was COVID related? Would we have looked at this thing a couple months ago in advance? I sort of feel like there's really nothing to decide on here if the work's already been done.
Well, the addition, yeah, that's when the applicant proceeded. It was right around that time when we had to go into the lockdown for COVID purposes.
Okay.
All right. So I'm sorry, Jay.
Go ahead, Carol, please.
So I want to be clear on exactly what has been added to these plans. It is my understanding that diagonally striped area was included in the original plans, and the area that looks like it's plaid is the added on second floor area?
That's right. So the area that's labeled office area here, sort of on the bottom left-hand side of this floor plan, is what was recently added. And it's sort of the subject of the request today, along with the community benefits. Everything else was permitted previously.
So access is from the two stairs that would be on the north side of the building. Is that correct?
Access, I'm sorry, I didn't
Access
hear you.
to the second floor and the new 912 square feet office area, that's accessed from those staircases.
That's right. Commissioner Newman, you're on mute. I just wanted to remind you.
Sorry, there you go, kiddo. So when was that addition added actually, Paul? Do you know the answer to that?
I don't remember.
And you say that the applicant actually added it at risk, which is fine. And was it because the whole Smoky Hollow community benefits plan was in motion, that it really hadn't been developed yet, but felt that there could be enough if they went ahead and took the risk to go ahead and build that area, that there'd be enough community benefits to compensate for the additional FAR for this property? Is that how it is? That
essentially
is that how it went?
Yeah.
Okay.
Essentially, the applicant wanted to make progress on this because it's been under construction for a very long time, and they believe that there were a lot of delays and wanted to kind of make as much progress as possible.
Good.
Paul, this property. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Carol. You go.
This property came before us relatively recently, within my memory. When was the last time we looked at this property, and was it just to approve this? Can you refresh my memory, Paul?
This was probably in the last couple of years, I'm afraid I don't have an exact date. The commission reviewed a request for an adjustment for the property along with the overall project.
And what was our decision? Do you recall?
Yeah, you approved the adjustment. I believe it was parking related, if I'm not mistaken. And after that approval, they proceeded with obtaining building permits and going forward with construction of the building.
Was this additional floor area part of that we discussed at that time?
No, it was not. So this was a new request. So you did not review this request for the second floor addition.
And Paul, can you identify or help us understand the scoring system for the community benefits? Because that's going to be a very big issue for a lot of the properties over in that Smoky Hollow area, and how they can build or have adjustments with or compensations with parking or some of the issues that they've got over there. How did this score with community benefits so that it you've listed those 3 items, but
yeah. So the projects that you reviewed earlier in the year were under the tier 2 level of review, and projects in the tier 2 level of review have to meet 5 findings. The additional 2 findings have to do with finding sort of a balance between the sort of costs, quote unquote, of these benefits, and the let's say the financial benefit to the applicant from getting the additional square footage. So that's why we had to go into a sort of a score sheet where we estimate the costs of the construction and potential added property value from the addition, and then compare that with, say, the actual costs of the community benefits. If you remember,
Paul, in simple terms, what this property only garnered tier 1 grading versus tier 2, and how was that decided?
That is part of the specific plan provisions. So if a project only exceeds the FAR by a small amount, then it falls under the tier 1 level of review, and only 3 findings are required to be made in order to approve a project. So that's the case here for this project. So that's why we did what percentage of FAR does this project exceed? So the permitted FAR in this particular district is 0.75, and the building as approved under the old standards was actually at 0.86 FAR. Because the old regulations allowed larger buildings in a certain sense. So in this case, the applicant is proposing to add 0.14 FAR to the project. So going from 0.86 to 1.0.
Okay. Do we have any other, before we open it up to the applicant or their representative, are there any other questions for Paul at this point? Jay, you're muted. There you go.
I can shake my head very quietly. I'm good until I'd love to hear from the applicant. Sure.
Okay. Then, all right. Well, let's do that. And I'm assuming we can scroll back to or head back to the applicant is online here via Zoom, or are they in the council chambers? I'm not sure.
We just unmuted our microphone. Can you hear us?
We hear you.
Yes.
And maybe we could, there you go.
Okay. Hi, I'm Patty.
Thank you and welcome. And if you'll just tell us your name and the and a little bit about yourself and the project. Thank you.
Okay. Patty is my wife. I'm Scott. We're the Fish Faders. And I actually grew up in Westchester and graduated Westchester High. So I'm from this area and very familiar with El Segundo. When we were able to get into the project, which the original owner had the original architectural designs and the properties, and we had purchased that and started the project on Sheldon in El Segundo. The one thing that I would like to say is Paul and Greg have really helped us a lot through the project and through working on getting the community benefits. And that was one of the reasons why when we started this, they told us that we were taking a risk, but they said, if you can work through community benefits, then there's a good possibility that the meeting today, the council will accept what we'll do. And that's pretty much it. I have a small company. We have 4 full-time employees that work there, so it's not a large group of people that will be working in the office. And I think that's pretty much what I have to say. One thing that I can tell you is when we were able to get this project in El Segundo, it's been a dream for us.
Yeah, I'm Patty. Scott and I were working on this for a long time, and we really are very thrilled to be able to be part of El Segundo community. And working with Paul and Greg has been a great experience. They've been very helpful, and we know what it the options are, the possibilities are, and we really hope we can we'll be able to get an okay from the council, and looking forward to stay in El Segundo for many years to come.
I have to commend you. It's a very beautiful building, and with your architect, you've done a great job. It's a beautiful building. Tell us a little bit about your business again. What is it you actually do there?
The name of my company is called Associated Wire Rope, and we're one of the suppliers for lifting products. If you look at the El Segundo refinery, you see all the cranes working at the refinery, and the cranes, we sell the products on the cranes that are called crane blocks or lifting blocks. Those are the blocks that you see the hooks on, and those are the blocks that are lifting all the, making all the lifts for the work at the refinery. So we're well connected with a lot of the major crane companies, the crane manufacturers, and we're also involved with other industries, but that's the major part of what we do. And basically we have a small sales group, and it'll be basically a sales office. There will be no manufacturing. It's just
For
an
large
office.
storage of large cranes?
Yeah, no, nothing. We actually have other locations where we have our products are kept, and we have logistic locations where they store and ship everything.
So it makes sense. It's important for you to have that extended second floor for is that your offices up there?
Yes, and it's our offices for our company. We have 4 full-time employees and 1 part-time employees, but obviously with the virus, we've all been working out of our houses. So,
Yes.
you know.
So So could you tell us then your experience as well for with the community benefits? Did you feel that there was an onus that was extensive as a building? And I see Mr. Glenn is here as well. Maybe he could chime in. Did it make sense for the community benefits that you've provided the city? That was all? Did that work smoothly? I know that the planning department gets some wonderful compliments for being fairly easy to, and the community benefits program is fairly new for Smoky Hollow. So it's I'm really sort of asking you to just sort of share your experience just to make sure that it's a real workable environment, that it made sense.
Well, I'll take that, Brenda. So it is a new process for all of us. And I want to say that Paul has been very diligent and patient with us, because as we went through the process, it seemed like there was new information coming to Paul. As we were asking a lot of questions, he would check the code and figure out ways to help us. And also, Greg McLean has been amazing to work with. He actually helped us a lot in figuring out what we could do that would really bring this project to the point where it is today, meeting the community benefits. And I think it's been a great process working together, finding a way through. While I'm speaking, I'd like to respond to something Commissioner Wingate was asking about. When we came to the commission before with this building, it was with a different owner. And that owner was going to occupy the entire building, all as one space. And in our design, we had created a large 2-story space, which when the fish feeders bought the building, wasn't appropriate to their use, because they wanted to lease out the ground floor to a separate entity who hasn't been identified yet, and maintain the second floor just for their business. So we had a building that now had a large connection between the ground floor and the second floor, which was no longer appropriate. So that led us to figuring out a way to divide the space between upstairs and downstairs. And through that process and working with the city, we figured out that there was a way to incorporate that as square footage. And we feel that it actually is a benefit to the city to have the building filled out this way. We can have 2 businesses there and also bring these community benefits to the city.
Good, very good. Thank you, Frank. How about any other questions? Mr. Heschler, Mrs. Wingate, any other questions?
Yes, is there going to be enough parking if there's 2 businesses in that building? We're not talking about 4 people. We're talking about probably 8 people going to that building and parking.
Well, there is 8 parking spaces.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank
I don't have the
Eight-
plans in front of me. It's awkward.
There's 8 parking places in the back, and plus there's additional parking in the front of the building.
Yeah, and actually, as part of the development, there was a driveway in the front, which is now sidewalk. So we've actually added street parking, probably 2 spots in the front that weren't there before.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, the owners are going to be paying for to in lieu parking, which hopefully the city will use that money to bring more parking as well. So.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions for staff or any other questions for the applicant? We will close the this portion of it, and all of the rest of the comments will come from the faux dais, from your own homes. All right, guys, what do you think? Any other comments that you have?
It looks like a great addition to Sheldon Street, and it's going to be nice to have somebody who really loves the town in there and has a nice business that's going to grow in this area.
Oh yeah, the building is fantastic. It's just absolutely beautiful inside. You know, clearly there's pride of ownership. I love the bench that they have out front. I just think it's great. I think the landscaping looks wonderful. You know, they're really doing a nice thing. I love that whole community benefits. I think that's just really an interesting way to help my dog. Sorry, to help that area thrive over there. And this is just one wonderful way to contribute to that. So nothing else from me. What about you guys?
I saw the building today, rode my bike past it, and kind of took a look around. The bench out front is nice. Of course, I love additional bike parking out in front. But Frank, you did a great job on the building, and I welcome the fish faders to the street, and it's going to be, you know, we're all very excited about Smoky Hollow, and so every incremental step that we do towards making these more complete streets, more pedestrian friendly, is a good thing. I was a little concerned when I saw that everything was complete and thought, well, you know, are we really weighing in on anything here? And you know, there's certainly nothing that we saw that would make them take that floor out. But you know, I think in the future, as these things come forward, you know, Brenda, you brought up a good question. What is how can we get ahead of this matrix and kind of know what we're looking at? So, and don't try not to put people in the position where they're trying to do at-risk development when something could be undone. So, you know, that's the last thing any of us want.
I agree.
Yeah, but it's a great project, and I'm all for it. So, nice work.
All right. Then
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Shall I make a resolution?
Sure.
yes, please.
Okay. I make a resolution approving community benefit plan number 19-03 and environmental assessment number EA1273 for a 912 square foot internal addition to a building at 140 Sheldon Street.
I second it.
So due to the distance, we're going to do a voice roll call for the vote. So I will go ahead and read the roll. We have Vice Chair Newman. How do you vote?
I approve it.
Okay. Commissioner Wingate, how do you vote?
Aye.
And Commissioner Heschler, how do you vote?
Aye.
All right. And Chair Baldino and Commissioner Keldorf are absent, so we have a 3-0 vote.
Okay, thank you, Brenna. Next up, we'll just have a report from Planning and Building Safety Director or Designee, Mr. McLean. Mr. Lee, there you are.
Good afternoon.
Hi, Sam.
I want to first welcome everybody back. You know, City Hall just recently reopened, and it's nice to have everyone back and have a level of normalcy. I know that a lot of the businesses are still having a hard time, and the city's trying to help in every way we can to try to get those businesses somewhat to normal as much as we can. But so it's nice to have the Planning Commission meetings back. I just wanted to announce to you guys and to the public that the long-awaited short-term rental / home sharing ordinance will be coming back to council at the next meeting on July 21st. And so it is the second reading. It'll be the final vote. And if the council approves it, the ordinance will be in effect after 30 days. But there's a catch to that, in that because of COVID-19, there's a county order that prevents us from allowing home sharing, short-term rental home sharing. So the ordinance is written in a way that the ordinance will become effective 30 to 60 days after the county order is lifted. And so there'll be more announcements and in the future. The last thing I wanted to point out is that the public may not know that the planning commissioners serve a invaluable service to our community, and they volunteer their time. But they do serve within a term. It's a 4-year term. They're appointed by the council. A couple of the planning commissioners' terms are up. And so in the next few weeks, there will be advertisement in the community about those positions. There are a lot of other commissioners' positions opening up. So just to look for that in the community newspapers. And that completes my report. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sam. And at this juncture, for the application for the Planning Commission or any other commissions, boards, they can do that online?
Yeah, they'll do most of it just online. They can do it in person as well, but I think it's much easier online. Yeah.
Sam, whose terms are up?
Chair and vice chair.
Thank you.
Okay, and with that, planning commissioners' comments. Anything further on anybody would like to share?
It's so nice to see everyone's face and to hear your voice. I've missed all of you, and it's so good to be back together.
Nice. I have 2 quick things. One, well, 2 and a half. So great to see you guys again too, and it is nice to kind of be back in service. A quick observation, I'm thinking about Brenda and I were on a downtown committee together a while back, and it wasn't so long ago that we were trying to get parklets approved, and everyone is up in arms. Oh, it's going to take away parking, and now look at our street. Our lovely Main Street is going to be full of parklets. So I'm just very happy about that, and I hope it serves the restaurants well. I mean, these have been tough times, so. I'm very happy to see, and it's going to slow traffic down on Main Street, and it's going to do good things. So, the second thing is regarding Chick-fil-A, and a lot of our commissioners predicted that traffic was going to back up around onto PCH, and sure enough, I've seen it 3 or 4 times. They're just literally backing up at lunchtime. And, maybe everybody gets a pass because it's, COVID season, and it's, who knows what the world is like now. And I understand people wanting to get lunch. So I don't know if anybody's complained about it, but I just wanted to have an observation that traffic is in fact backing up on PCH at lunchtime there.
That's really interesting, Jay, because there's very little traffic now with most of the businesses closing down. So that's a great observation, and I think it should be brought to the attention of the city.
Yeah. So that's all I got.
Okay. Anything else from anybody? Just I would like to say welcome back. I missed the other 2 faces that aren't here. Yes, Sam. You're muted, Sam. Unmute yourself. That's funny, Jay. There you go.
Okay. So somebody doesn't want me to talk. To answer Jay's question, if you recall, when the Chick-fil-A project was approved, we were one of the conditions is that we provide a report back.
Right.
COVID has slowed us down from that perspective, but prior to COVID, staff was spending a lot of time there, especially at lunchtime and in the evening, documenting, how many cars were being backed up and whatnot. So we will have to pick that back up, and we'll be back to you to report on that shortly then.
Great. Thank you.
Good.
Thank you.
And again,
Thank
I
you
don't
so
know, I don't know if anyone has complained about it because everybody sure seems to like Chick-fil-A. So,
Yeah.
We,
And
I don't know that it would, you know, get to the level of complaining, but people have noticed it, and we want to keep it safe. So we'll report back to the police department. Have been helping us on this, keeping an eye on this. So we will report back, and it's one of the conditions. So it's and if you recall, they promised that if they are not meeting the safety standards, that they would remove the drive-through. So we'll report back.
great. Thank you, Sam.
good. That'll be good to see the follow-up on that. Okay, with that, there's nothing else this evening. We will then call an adjournment with our next meeting scheduled for July 23rd, I'm sure via Zoom at 5:30 start time. So until then, be safe, and we'll see you all later.
Great. Thanks, everybody.
Meeting adjourned.
Thank you. Good to see you all.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.